Imagine a quiet girl, always keeping her head down, never fighting back, until one night in a dark parking lot, something inside her snapped. The bullies thought she was weak, but what happened next made them scream in terror. Stay with me till the end, because this shocking twist will leave you speechless. And before we dive in, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more life-changing stories. It helps us bring you more inspiring content. The rain had just begun to drizzle over the empty school parking lot, making the concrete glisten under the dim yellow lights. Most students had already gone home, their laughter echoing faintly in the distance as cars pulled out and tires splashed through puddles. But one girl lingered. Her name was Emily Carter. She was the kind of student everyone knew but no one really noticed, quiet, reserved, always tucked away at the back of the classroom with her notebooks pressed against her chest like armor. She never raised her voice, never fought back, never gave anyone a reason to remember her. To most, she was invisible. But to a certain group of cruel girls, her silence was not a shield, it was an invitation. They called her names in the hallways, whispered nasty rumors behind her back, and tripped her in the cafeteria just to watch her fall. They thought she would never fight back, because Emily always lowered her head and walked away. That night in the parking lot, however, would be different. That night would change everything. Emily's mother had texted her to wait by the lot until she came to pick her up after work. She stood under the flickering light post, clutching her bag against her chest, trying not to shiver as the wind cut across the empty space. Her thoughts were tangled with the usual mix of dread and hope, dread of another day of being invisible, and hope that maybe, just maybe, tomorrow would be different. But before she could sink too deep into her thoughts, she heard the sharp sound of heels clicking against wet pavement. A mocking giggle followed. Emily froze. She didn't even have to look up to know who it was. Jessica and her two loyal shadows, Maya and Brooke, were approaching. Jessica was the self-appointed queen of the school, the kind of girl who always had an audience and thrived on other people's misery. Tonight, without a crowd, her cruelty was sharper, more focused. Well, if it isn't little Miss Mute Mouse, Jessica sneered, circling Emily like a predator. What's the matter, Emily? Waiting for mommy to come save you? So pathetic. Maya laughed on cue, while Brooke filmed with her phone, already anticipating some cruel clip to post online later. Emily tightened her grip on her bag, willing her legs not to shake. She wanted to disappear, but the empty lot offered no escape. Jessica shoved her shoulder hard enough to make her stumble. Say something for once. Oh, wait, you never do. Maybe you like being a punching bag. Another shove came, this time from Maya. Brooke egged them on, her phone capturing every second of Emily's humiliation. Emily's eyes burned with tears, but she blinked them back. She had cried too many times, locked in her room, muffling her sobs into her pillow so her mother wouldn't hear. Tonight she didn't want to cry. Tonight something inside her was stirring, something she had buried deep for years. The girls cornered her against a row of parked cars, their shadows stretching long and thin under the weak light. Jessica's voice dripped with venom. You know why nobody likes you, Emily? Because you're nothing. Just a ghost in this school. And ghosts don't belong with the living. Emily's nails dug into her palms, her knuckles turning white as she clutched her bag tighter. Every cruel word, every shove, every day of being overlooked and mocked boiled inside her like water in a kettle about to whistle. For years she had been silent. For years she had let the world believe she was weak. But as Jessica lifted a hand as if to slap her, something inside Emily snapped. It wasn't just anger, it was rage, raw and unfiltered, born from years of suppressed pain. Emily's eyes shot up, locking onto Jessica's with a glare so fierce it made the ringleader hesitate for a fraction of a second. Don't, Emily whispered, her voice low but trembling with an intensity that shocked even herself. Jessica laughed nervously, trying to shake off the sudden chill. Oh, look! The mouse finally squeaks. She reached forward again, but this time Emily didn't back away. In a flash, Emily shoved Jessica with all the force she had bottled up inside. Jessica stumbled backward, slipping on the wet pavement, her scream cutting through the night as she crashed to the ground. Brooke gasped, her phone clattering onto the concrete. Maya froze, eyes wide, as Emily stood tall for the first time. The silence that followed was deafening, broken only by the pounding of rain and the harsh sound of Jessica's breathing as she scrambled to her feet. Her bravado was gone, replaced by shock and a flicker of fear. Emily's chest rose and fell rapidly, her entire body shaking, but her eyes blazed with a fire none of them had ever seen before. "I'm not your ghost," Emily said, her voice firmer now, cutting through the rain like a blade. "I'm not your punching bag. Not anymore." Her words echoed in the lot, heavy and sharp, leaving the bullies speechless. For the first time, the power dynamic had shifted. Jessica, the untouchable queen, was trembling. Brooke's hands shook as she picked up her phone, no longer eager to record. Maya muttered something about leaving, tugging on Jessica's arm, but Jessica jerked away, too stunned to respond. Emily didn't wait for them to regroup. She turned her back on them, shoulders squared, and walked across the lot as though her feet were no longer weighed down by fear. Every step felt like freedom, like shedding years of chains she hadn't even realized she carried. Her mother's car pulled up just as Emily reached the curb. She quickly wiped her face, not wanting her mom to see the storm that had just erupted inside her. Sliding into the passenger seat, she forced a small smile. "Rough day?" her mother asked gently, glancing at her with concern. Emily hesitated, then nodded. "Yeah. But I think it's getting better." Her voice was quiet, but for the first time in a long while, it wasn't defeated. It carried something new, strength. Behind them in the parking lot, the bullies huddled together, whispering frantically. They had never seen Emily like that. They had never thought the quiet girl would push back, would make them scream and stumble. And yet, the real shock wasn't what Emily had done, it was what was coming next. Because the parking lot incident was only the beginning of a transformation that would ripple through the entire school, changing not only Emily's life but also exposing secrets the bullies had fought hard to keep hidden. But that part of the story is for later. The next morning, the video Brooke had recorded spread like wildfire across the school. But instead of humiliating Emily, it backfired. Students who had once ignored her were stunned, shocked to see the quiet girl finally standing up to her tormentors. Whispers filled the halls. "Did you see Emily push Jessica? She wasn't weak after all." For the first time, Emily wasn't invisible. She was powerful. Jessica tried to twist the story, painting Emily as the aggressor, but the truth had already taken root. Teachers investigated, and for once, people began asking why Jessica and her friends were in the lot cornering Emily. Secrets spilled, other victims came forward, sharing stories of being bullied, threatened, and humiliated by Jessica's group. The queen, who once ruled through fear, was stripped of her crown overnight. Emily sat quietly at lunch, overwhelmed by the sudden shift. Students who had once walked past her now offered seats and smiles. But the real twist came later that week, when Jessica, red-eyed and trembling, approached Emily in private. I'm sorry," she whispered, voice cracking. "I treated you the way I did because I was hurting at home. My dad, her words broke off in sobs. Emily's rage had made them scream, yes, but it also revealed something deeper. The bullies weren't just villains, they were broken too. And in that moment, Emily faced a choice, to stay angry, or to extend the very kindness she had been denied. Her silence broke with a single word, peace.